Hi, everybody. Well, I've got a treat for you today. Carol Shelby and Don the Snake Prudhomme talking about a lot of things, but most importantly, a brand new car from Shelby Automobiles. How did you and Don get tied up?
We had a parts company when I quit building the Mustangs before, and it was on 190th Street, right up from where we are, right over there, 3 or 4 miles. And Frank Martin worked for me, who was an ex-Ford executive, and I don't remember how Don and I sat down and got into the deal, but Don had a camera, and we put a deal together. Don, do you remember the details? I don't remember all the details.
Well, it was Lou Baney.
That's right, Lou.
Lou Baney.
Yeah.
Lou Baney. I was actually driving the car, and I was on my own. I was just this young guy coming up. Didn't have my own race car team or nothing. I drove for different people, and I had some great rides with Keith Black and Roland Leon.
Yeah.
And then I got to drive I keep calling it the Shelby car, but that's what it was, the Shelby car.
Shelby
Camper.
Yeah, I'll take that.
So we went over to Carol's place. A guy by the name of Bill Donor was working for you.
That's right, Bill was there.
Yeah, and you know, he was a big deal. You know, Carol, you know, he was a big deal. He was already doing the Le Mans stuff and the Cobras and so on, and to be hooked up with Ford for me was a big deal too. Yeah. And then, you know, once again to be with Carol. So that's where we kind of met, you know. But come to find out, he's a hot rodder. Mm-hmm. He's not just, he's a hot rodder. So that's what I think kind of kept our relationship through all these years, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I'm still a hot rodder. I mean, I'm not an engineer. Somebody says, "What are you?" I said, "I guess I'm a hot rod innovator," because hot rod principles are still the thing that guide everything that we do. You know, lighter weight. You know, and
Shelby Automobiles is coming out with yet another new hot rod.
I'm sure proud of
the
that.
Shelby Super Snake.
Yeah.
Prudhomme Edition.
Here we are 40 years later.
Yeah.
Together
again.
You know, David, I've never had my name on a car, ever. Mm-hmm. You know, a factory car. I mean, we've talked about some different situations, but through, you know, Chevrolet and people I was involved with, but this deal with the new Shelby Super Snake car we're building and that we're introducing here is a fabulous thing for me, because obviously he's like a brother to me, you know, right. Carol, you know, or I was going to say a father, but
I was going to
say
he's not that old.
You're not that old.
You're getting up there, aren't you, Snake?
But to have the nickname Snake like I do, and his, you know, of course with his Cobra, you know,
a lot of interfacing has been going on there over the years, and I've always admired Don as the ultimate drag racer. I've never heard him knock a competitor. I've seen this guy take the damnedest hits financially, national championships, missed by that much. All he ever does just bites down on that toothpick in his mouth, and you can see in his mind, tomorrow will be a different day. He takes it better than anybody I've ever known in this business to have to be as competitive as he's remained all these years.
Oh, I know that from personal experience. The year you lost your sponsorship.
You can drive on the street what you take to the racetrack. I've never seen him complain about anything.
Well, I think that's proven by the Prudhomme edition of the Shelby Super Snake, which, by the way, has got a Cammer motor in it, 5.4.
Yes, and how about this baby is going to put out close to 800 horsepower that telling me. So, you know, I've yet, to be honest with you, I've yet to run it down the quarter mile, but I'm looking forward to doing that. And what I most like about it is that, you know, when we were discussing it about, oh, should we make these cars just for the drag strip, you know? And I thought, damn, I'd like to have it to drive on the highway.
On the highway, sure, yeah.
Have it. We can run it on the highway and then take it off to the drags. You know, when we first started this deal, we drove our cars to the drag strip.
That's right.
We drove them out there,
raced them.
Well, that's where, that's where the Cobra came from. You stretched it a little bit because you needed your preparation H if you're going to drive it down the road. But that's what sold it. You could drive it on the road if you wanted to.
Right.
Or you could take it out to the racetrack and win a race. And there's been very few things built like that. And the car that with Don's name on it now, that carries that reputation still after 45, nearly 50 years. You can drive on the street what you take to the racetrack.
You're only making 100 of them, so I anticipate the demand is going to be pretty high for these cars.
Well, we like to think so. I think the most important thing, though, is to get a cool car.
About 3 or 4 months ago, we got in one of these super snakes. We got out on the highway there at 15, and I said, "How fast are we going, Amy?" She said, 165. I said, she says, "Can't you see the speedometer?" I said, "I can't even see the highway."
Yeah. You know what's what I just thought was so cool is the way the front end raises up.
Raises up.
Yeah, raises forward,
funny
yeah.
car.
Like
It's
a tilt
funny
front
car
end,
style. You know, alters back in the day.
That's right.
We used to tip them forward.
Yeah.
I think it's the first Shelby that's ever been built. with a
Ever
front
been
end
built like that.
Right.
Absolutely. The
So
guys
how
in
about
Las
the
Vegas.
supercharger stick in the air and
Yeah.
sticking up through the hood. I
Part
mean,
of the funny car program.
just like hot
Yeah.
rodders do
Yeah.
today.
And the roll cage in the car and just everything about it. You know, it's a real sexy car.
Yeah, and we always have to have engineers to take care of the safety and the government regulations now. But the guys that built this car are hot rodders.
Right.
Yeah.
They are honest hot rodders. There's not an engineer in the bunch that I know of that really put it together and built it.
It's just an engineering exercise. This was a passion they had.
It was a big project. You know, this just didn't happen overnight.
Right.
We've been talking about this for a year or so,
Yeah.
how to build this car, and Shelby's staff was real involved with it, and it had to meet all the safety stuff.
Sure.
You know, it had to look good. It had to haul ass. It just couldn't
Yeah.
be just build another car.
And
We
it's
had
still
to
got to do less than 10 seconds on a drag
Yeah,
strip.
it'll do that. It'll do that shit.
Well,
It'll do that
800
blindfold.
horsepower and
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
set of tires, you ought to be there with no problem.
Yeah.